Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome. Thanks for waiting. Wanted to make sure everybody got in and got seats. I'm Phil Swearingen. I'm the opening act. A little warm up here. Get those hands going. You're going to use them all night. We are actually recording this evening, so a couple of things before we get started. Would like your help. On the count of 3, could we all say marker, okay? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Marker! Everybody get that? The Pearly Media team is here. Jason, you got it? All right, we're good? All right. That was that. The other thing is I have a small but plentiful guest book here. So during intermission, please try to find this and sign what you can and whatever you'd like to say to John Graves. Okay? Oh, hang on just a second. I gotta get that. It's my mom. Hang on. Hey, Mom. Oh, yeah. I'm doing great. I'm feeling better. Kind of middle something. I'm about to tell everybody to turn their cell phones off. So, right now, please take out your cell phone, text your BFF, tell them how excited you are to be at the tribute to John Graves. Do it now. Okay? And I don't even know where the power button is on my... I don't even know how to work these things. So please turn off your cell phones. And if you want to take a picture, please no flash photography. We are video recording. So, ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy a sentimental journey.
D.C. Duncan, ladies and gentlemen.
Our band from left to right, Larry Elginer on trumpet. Also on trumpet, Bob Noonan. Next to him, Big Bob Heminger on saxophone. In the back, the legendary D.C. Duncan on drums. Further to the right, a man who's been here since the beginning with John Graves and friends, Dan Fitzpatrick on bass. And a visiting luminary, Lee Bartley on piano. I'd like to welcome you all to tonight's performance entitled Sentimental Journey, a tribute to John Graves. My name is John Muslin. I'll be reading later two brief excerpts from John Graves' autobiography, Just Say Yes, Memoirs of a Geezer. And quickly, I'd like to say how much I admire John and how much he's inspired me in the few months that I've been out here. He's even given me a private lesson on trying to learn how to sing Fly Me to the Moon. But first, some brief biographical information to give you some background on John's amazing career. And personally, I think, other than Frank Sinatra, there aren't many people who've had the length, breadth, and exciting career that John has had. John has had a distinguished career as a professional musician, television and movie executive, producer, and college professor. Born in Porterville, California in 1928, he was a child prodigy, composing songs and performing on piano for school and vaudeville-type shows by the age of 8. Even during the thick of his television and movie production days, John performed several nights a week at private parties for the likes of Judy Garland, Groucho Marx, Danny Thomas, John Wayne, and many other stars. He has accompanied George Burns, June Christie, Rosemary Clooney, Rudy Vallee, Red Fox, Arthur Duncan, Jimmy Durante, and a host of other musical greats. He also performed on television for The Betty White Show and was musical director for The Gloria Hart Show. And now our first reading from the Book of John, page 38, where he recollects his experiences at NBC as a policy editor and program manager, and at MGM, where he is director of current programming. If you'll forgive me for a second, I'm going to put my new glasses on. Scott today. As censors, we had the responsibility of enforcing NBC's program policy code. It contained prohibitions against the use of certain words, nudity, suggestive humor, scatological references, and gratuitous violence. 50 years ago, we worried about cleavage and frequently ordered a discreet application of a gauze-like fabric at the point of convergence. Now cleavage is rampant, both front and back. Kisses were limited to the closed-mouth variety, Gaelic variations were taboo, and tongues were never visible in a romantic context. I remember ordering a steaming sequence of powerful passion, edited to remove a gossamer thread of saliva clinging to the parting lips following a prolonged osculation. Beds were mainly to sit on. Even married couples didn't share the same bed until NBC's presentation of the Broadway hit The Four Poster, starring Hume Cronin and his wife Jessica Tandy. Virtually the entire play took place on their double bed. Respect for the reverence and the use of the creator's name not only eliminated any profanity or casual utterances like, "My God, look!" It even went to the extreme of deleting things like, Lord only knows, or good Lord. Violence was our biggest problem. It was to be acceptable only when absolutely necessary to the plot or development of the story. Then it should not be overdone or sensationalized. My own mea culpa came over a Peter Gunn episode where I allowed some really bad guys to meet their maker in a heated clothes dryer. My boss in New York decided my penance would be to personally answer all the complaining letters. All of this seems so benign, even quaint now, with masterpieces of mayhem and saturations of sex dominating so much of our viewing hours. I sometimes wonder if Rip Van Winkle were a television executive from the 50s, and he just emerged this year, what would he think and do? He'd probably run to the nearest pharmacy to refill his sedative prescription. I wonder what he uses and where I could get some. Ladies and gentlemen, the Professor, John Graves.
Wow, let's give it up for John Graves. Wow. Well, John, I hope you enjoy your sentimental journey. You're certainly surrounded by family, musicians, and people out here in Pagosa Springs who all love you very much, including yours truly. When I first came out here in 2003, leaving the same area from which John came, in the Los Angeles, Hollywood area, I thought, what am I going to do with my spare time? You know, both John and I were involved with a lot of gigs and playing with professional musicians and studio people. And I thought, there's going to be nothing here. Well, I was wrong. One day I ran across a friend of his, John Porter, and I'd heard about this John Graves, and I said, tell me about John Graves. First of all, is he approachable? And he said, well, yeah, he's approachable, but he's a curmudgeon. And my vocabulary is so limited, I didn't know what that was. I thought it must be a good thing. But with John Graves being here in town, and the opportunities to play with the John Graves Quartet, and our old music that we play from the 30s, 40s, and 50s, it's been a fantastic pleasure, and I always look forward to the Wednesday nights, and saddened by the fact that we are closing a curtain on that. Man, what a ride John Graves has had.
Mine now? Oh.
Yes.
I was 8 years old and just been playing and listening to jazz for maybe a year or two. I was walking down my hometown street, and on the other side of the street, I heard a jazz piano being played. And as I moved on down, got a little louder, and I stood there, and the guy was doing, ooh, that's too loud, doing all kinds of weird things that I'd heard a little bit of on the records and the radio, but strange figures like that, and I thought, gee, that's interesting. And that would work into I've been trying to learn how to play boogie woogie, and I thought, gee, they do a lot of that in boogie woogie. And then I had a thought. I thought, gee, I wonder if I could just go across the street and ring his doorbell and say I'd like to come in and watch him play. And then I thought, no, he'd just say no. And then I realized I was saying no because I was scared. And I thought, do I want to be scared? Want to go through life being scared? That's dumb. No, I'm going to do it. Just say yes. I didn't bring any copies. But anyway, that little day changed my whole life. And I just didn't, unless somebody wanted to push me into the Grand Canyon or something, but my first impulse as a child had been, no, they'll say no. But then from that moment on, I just decided I'm going to say yes. And so I did. I walked across the street, knocked on the door, he came to the door. I said, I've been standing over across the street listening to you play, and I just wondered if I could come in and watch and see how you do those funny notes. He said, sure, come in. And from that moment on, I was at Just Say Yes. That was the first of my memories as a geezer. I'll show you a little bit of a boogie woogie. I had learned by that time that boogie woogie consisted of the, oh boy, that's too loud. Let's see. 4 chords. And if this is too loud or deafening, why, somebody will tell you where the exits are. Okay. Anyway, just a little bit of that.
Super. Even though we have left September, we'd like to do a September song for you. Wow, look at this. This is the harem from Pagosa Springs. Wow. It's okay, Annie. This is just for the night. Wow, what a lovely looking girl. We have so many talented people in this town.
The leaves are brown, came tumbling down. That September in the rain. Well, the sun went out just like a dying ember. That September in the rain. To every word of love I do whisper. And the raindrops seem to play a sweet refrain. Though spring is here, to me it's still September. That September in the rain. Take it, lead.
Mr. Graves, had it not been for John Graves coming into JJ's upstream about, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks after I started playing there and introducing himself, I would not have had any groundwork for the wonderful friendship that we have developed over the years. He came in on his own with no ego, no anything, just to meet a new piano player in town. And that started our wonderful friendship. It also laid the groundwork for 3 most wonderful years with Rio Jazz. And so all I have to say is that of all the men that I have known in my life, I can't say that I have ever known anybody who was not a truer gentleman than John Graves. Thank you. I thank you very much for letting me be a part of your life and for you being a part of mine. Thanks, John.
very special evening. I say, looking at John sitting there kind of reminds me of some of the old Hugh Hefner Playboy Mansion nights shows, you know. You just need a smoking jacket. We should. I remember, I tell you, John, we came here in '96, I think it was, and John was playing at the lodge, right? They had a dance floor and a little bar there, and we walked in. And, you know, we were dancing and just having a nice evening, and you know, trying to figure out if we wanted to move here or not. John says to my wife, says, "What's your name?" She says, "Judy." He says, "All right." He starts playing a song called Judy, and he says, "Give me another name," and he did all night long. You know, we could just give him a name, and he'd play a song about it. And I think that convinced us to move here. It's been fabulous. It really is. Very special friend. All right. Yeah.
This is Jim Horkey. He is one of our local people. He's a really fine musician, and he's also a director. He directs a lot of big shows in Los Angeles, Las Vegas, New York City, down in Florida, and he's out a lot, and his wife says, "That's fine."
That's right. She's always glad to see me come home. Usually.
And we like to carry along with this theme for our show tonight, the Sentimental Journey, as Jim and I try to harmonize as sweetly as we possibly can. Sentimental Journey.
I'm gonna take a sentimental journey. I'm gonna set my heart at ease. I'm gonna take a sentimental journey to renew old memories. I got my bag, I got my reservation. I spent each time I could afford, and like a child in wild anticipation, I long to hear that all aboard. 7, that's the time we leave at 7. I'll be waiting up for heaven. I never thought my heart could be so yearning. Why did I decide to roam? I'm gonna take a sentimental journey, sentimental journey home.
That was Bob and Bob in our horn line. Okay, we are now having a special guest from Arizona. This happens to be the son of John Graves. This is Kim Graves.
Thank you.
Who is a
very
commercial
much.
airlines pilot, and he was a drummer. He joined the same musicianship union that John and I were a part of when we were back in Hollywood, Los Angeles, and that was Local 47. He joined at the age of 11 years and started playing that year with combos and then with big bands. And so the crews that he takes out really love it because he takes his drum set and has that in the cockpit but he doesn't drink. He just plays drums, okay? We're going to do a little Neil Hefti tune entitled Cute.
But before I do, we'd like to welcome you all on board. Sorry, wrong script here. But anyways, one person couldn't be here tonight, and she really wanted to. That'd be my sister, who coincidentally is John's daughter. Carrie Graves, extremely talented. She'd fit right in with this gang. But she wanted me to relay, Father, how thankful she is to you for all the opportunities you've afforded her, starting with you playing piano at her tap dance class that Cubby O'Brien was in, of the Mouseketeers, by the way. And she also stated that the guiding focus of her life, back to the Just Say Yes book, that really launched her into her career from a Cubby O'Brien partner to having a PhD in theater arts. And anyway, she wishes she could be here, and says, "Attaboy, Dad." So for me, I wanted to thank you again for paying for drum lessons when I was 9 years old. He sent me to Karen Carpenter's drum teacher, a guy named Bill Douglas of the Carpenters, and I used to watch her limo come up as I finished my lesson. I wasn't smart enough to get an autograph. I didn't know who she was at the time, but anyways, but she's actually a quite accomplished musician. So, and secondly, I'd like to thank you for getting me into Local 47, the Musicians Union, like Larry talked about. That enabled me to do the third thing I want to thank you for, and that's dragging me along, a little snot-nosed kid, 11 years old, to play these gigs in L.A. with probably the finest studio musicians anywhere would show up on the gig, and I think, oh my God, what they must have thought when they showed up and saw a little kid on the drums, but they worked out all right, and basically I was Dad's drummer from age 11 till I left for college, at 17 or 18. So took a lot of brass to do that. Thanks a lot, Dad. It was a lot of fun. One last thing, though. I really wanted to play the violin, but anyway, we're going to do, as Larry said, a Neil Hefti tune. It's called Cute.
Kim Graves. Wow. Thank you, Dad, for the drum lessons. Wow. That was fantastic. And also, he had mentioned his sister, who is a fantastic musician. She teaches theater and music back in a college university in Michigan. I can't remember the name of which one it is. Siena Heights, and she's really a talented person. These people all have showbiz pizzazz. They know how to present themselves and how to present music, including this guy right here. Okay. The next singer that we're going to be bringing up, Kathy Keys.
I had the great good fortune to meet John very shortly after I moved here in 1998 through the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship, and learned very early in my tenure with that fellowship that what an amazing musician John is. And a few times a year, John would host a coffee house on a Sunday, and that was where I started performing with John. He would bring together a group of musicians on a certain theme, and we would spend our Sunday morning together exploring a certain theme through music. And it was also there that I learned that John very modestly will say, I don't know anything that was written after 1950, which does not highlight that he knows everything in the American songbook written before 1950. And he knows it. He can play it in any key. He can play it in any tempo. He can play it in any style. He can accompany you. He can support you. He can lead you. And he does so with such love and such grace. And I think all of us have been gifted with that mentorship that John has offered to all of us. And it is a spirit of love and sharing and connection that we have all learned from you, John. And it's our great good fortune to be able to continue to share that on with all of you.
Birds do it, bees do it, even sentimental fleas do it. Let's do it, let's fall in love. In Spain, the best opera sets do it. Lithuanians, and let's do it, let's do it, let's fall in love. The Dutch in old Amsterdam do it, not to mention the Finns, folks in Siam do it. Think of Siamese twins, some Argentines without means do it. People say in Boston, even Beach do it. Let's do it, let's fall in love.
Lee Bartley on keyboard.
Romantic sponges, they say do it. Oysters down in Oyster Bay do it. Let's do it, let's fall in love. Coral Cape Cod clams, against their wish do it. Even lazy jellyfish do it. Let's do it, let's fall in love. Electric eels, I might add do it, though it shocks him, I know. Why ask if shad do it? Wait, bring me shad roe in shallow shoals. English shoals do it. Goldfish in the privacy
She has Pagosa Bakery, so she bakes there and she cooks on the gig scene. So she's a double threat. Our next singer, and I think I'm on track right now, is a person we've worked a lot with, and she does a lot of singles, a lot of working with small combos. Fantastic entertainer, and this is Debbie Tucker.
For those of you that really know me, I'm horribly stage fright. So I'm really a singer, I'm not a talker. Okay? I want to say my mother's here tonight, and she's sitting right over there. Mom, raise your hand. She came here from California, and she hasn't seen me perform much. So it's a joy to have her here tonight. And I want to say, as far as my sweet man, John, he has absolutely made my life different in such a good way. He is like totally made my singing go like that. So thank you, John. I think jazz, for any woman that ever wants to sing better, that's a good way to go. And he told me, he goes, you need to sing jazz. While I was singing, well, it's too late, baby, now it's too late. And he's like, no. Well, that's a good song, but you need to sing something with a few more notes. And so 15 years later, I've probably sang at least 75 jazz standards that have improved my voice. So thank you, John, for making me do that. And I love singing with this guy. Get on up here, bud. Here's a song called East of the Sun. Not go too fast. East of the sun and west of the moon, we'll build a dream house of love, dear.
I hope so.
Close to the sun in the day, near to the moon at night. We'll live in a lovely way, dear, sharing our love in the pale moonlight. Just you and I, forever and a day. Love will not die, let's keep it that way. Up above the stars that shine, a harmony of light to a lovely tune. And east of the sun, and west of the moon, dear, east of the sun and west of the moon. Cha-cha-cha-cha, cha-ba-doo-doo-doo-ba-doo-doo-da, shoo-doo-doo-da-ba, shoo-doo-doo-ba-boom-ba, shoo-doo-doo-ba-boom-ba, sha-doo-doo-da-ba-ya-ba, shoo-doo-doo-da-da-doo, sha-doo-doo-da, sha-doo-doo-da-ba-doo-da. east of the sun, and west of the moon. We'll build a dream house of love, dear. Close to the sun in the day, near to the moon at night. We'll live in a lovely way, dear. Sharing our love in the pale moonlight. Just you and I. Just you and I. Forever and a day. Love will not die. No, it won't. Let's keep it that way. Keep it that way. Up above the stars that shine, a harmony of life to a lovely tune. And east of the sun, west of the moon, dear. East of the sun and west. East of the sun and west. East of the sun and west of the moon.
Debbie Tucker. Wow, Debbie Tucker.
Thank you. That was fun. Thanks for being here, folks. Thanks for being here, Mom.
I don't know if you all know this, but we call him John Boy. Or affectionately Johnny Boy. But you know, they say that a father is worth 100 schoolmasters. Yes. And he is. He's taught me everything I know. The manners. He made me a gentle person. He really did. He's been an inspiration, as he is to everyone he touches. He's been a surrogate father. In fact, my father died in the mixing of our jazz CD live at the Timbers. And I asked him, man, I'm looking for a surrogate father. And he says, I'm your man. And I mean, that deserves an applause, because first thing I did was wreck his car, you know.
And my father died 2 weeks later after BC's, and he also became my surrogate father.
That's right. That's right.
Anybody else?
Yeah. You know, I met him, I don't know, not too long after you got here, I guess, back in the... And I didn't get to play with him until the late 90s, maybe 15 years ago. And he told me one night, he says, man, you sound like Buddy Rich. And I want to tell you something. Anybody that says something like that to me is A-OK. But he's a curmudgeon. He really is. Once I called him up on the phone to tell him that I'd stopped smoking. He called me a quitter. Nobody can be perfect, I guess. He is my dad. I love him so. And we've had some good times, haven't we, John? We've tipped a few glasses and we've told tales that we can't repeat here. But I have to tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a better person for having met John Graves. And one more thing, John. Do you have that $50 you owe me? It's been 5 years, man. Get up and dance.
Bob Heminger.
I'm a great jazz fan. I've loved jazz for years and years and years. I used to go down and listen to jazz in New York. And I'm happy. Me too. It's great to be here.
Talent. Music touches everyone's soul, and it's really a great tribute to a great man and performer. And it's been fun to watch him because he's sitting in his chair and he can't keep his hands still. It's touching his soul too.
It's perfect. A lot of the people that were with him a long time ago are back, and we just love being part of it.
Well, this is wonderful. What a great honor to be tributing such a great man.
There's a lot of talent here in Pagosa. We're blessed.
Hi.
We're on camera tonight. Whoa, here we are.
That's great.
It is fantastic. Oh, it's fantastic.
You're a treasure, John. We're so pleased we have you in our community. Thank you for all you've done for us.
Oh my gosh, it's a wonderful, wonderful event. I was just saying that this is going to be something that we remember our whole lives, this event right here, and just knowing John and how it's impacted our lives, and such an honor to be here.
He's influenced a lot of people. It's been awesome. Great music.
It's a treasure. I'm glad to be here.
Outstanding. Very nice to see everybody entertaining at their best, and we love them all dearly.
Starting with the ABC of it, right down to the XYZ of it. Help me solve the mystery of it. Teach me tonight. The sky's a blackboard high above you, and if a shooting star goes by, I'll use that star to write I love you 1,000 times across the sky. One thing isn't very clear, my love. Should the teacher stand so near, my love? Graduation's almost here, my love. Teach me tonight. The sky's a blackboard high above you, and if a shooting star goes by, I'll use that star to write I love you 1,000 times across the sky. One thing isn't very clear, my love. Should the teacher stand so near, my love? Graduation's almost here, my love. Teach me tonight.
Thank you. Thank you. Dan Fitzpatrick, D.C. Duncan, and Lee Bartley on piano.
Let's give it up for Larry, though, huh? So I first met John Graves in 1986. He was a professor, as you all know, and I was a student, and I still am, actually. So it's just a wonderful world with John Graves in it.
This is Phil Swearingen.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see eyes of blue, hair of white, professor by day, musician at night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are reflected in the faces of people walking by. Friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry and watch them grow. They'll learn so much more than we'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Pretty, pretty. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people walking by. Help me out. Friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry. We watch them grow. They'll learn so much more than we'll ever know. But I think to myself, everybody, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Oh.
Phil Swearingen, marvelous. There's enough love in that song to go around, and hopefully John Graves felt every ounce of it. And now we have a bass player who works with John Graves and DC and I at Nello's on Wednesday nights. He's going to be giving you, and a lot of you probably haven't heard him sing, but he's a singer. He has his own little style. And
Thanks, Larry.
Well, thank you. I guess I won't go any further than that. And he's going to be doing Up a Lazy River. You ready, Dan?
Yes, before I sing that tune, DC asked me to write a little poem, and as usual, I didn't write a poem, but I wrote a speech. And figured it fitting. Yeah, it's more of a novel, I guess, but you might want to get comfortable. It has truly been an honor to share the stage with such accomplished men as John, Larry, and DC. And I know my time spent paying my respectful dues will not be in vain. John and I replanted the seed here 6 years ago. That seed has become a tall tree with deep-reaching roots, one of the last of its kind. It has given us ripe fruit and ample shade. It has been a centerpiece of our community to gather around and break bread together every week for the last 6 years. It has become our own little musical oasis amidst the vast desert of noise, a fountain of portraits to mirror our trials and joys. So as we say our musical goodbyes to truly the greatest musician this town has ever seen or heard, May we embrace each other in the wake of his career with hopeful enthusiasm for what the potential of this great American music in this great American town may hold. So please, show your colors in this period of transition. Help us keep traditional jazz and post strings alive and well. My eternal thanks to all of you for your support, and especially John, Larry, and DC for all the time and hard work that has gone to not only becoming accomplished musicians in their own right, but also to building and maintaining this house of jazz so many of us have come to love so well. So I ask you to raise your glasses, if you have one. Join me in a toast. Long live the legend John Graves, our beloved poet and piano king. And long may stand his favorite church, our heavenly high house of swing. Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray! Up the lazy river where the old mill run sees that lazy river in the noonday sun. Linger in the shade of a kind old tree. Throw your troubles, dream your dream with me. Up the lazy river where the robin song. Early Sunday morning we can loaf along blue skies above. Everyone's in love with the lazy crazy river. How happy we can be, lazy crazy, way out west. Lazy river where the old mill run sees that lazy river in the noonday sun. Linger in the shade of a kind old tree. Throw away your old troubles, dream your dream with me. On the lazy river where the robin song. Early Sunday morning we can loaf along the skies above. Everyone's in love with the lazy crazy river. How happy we can be. Lazy crazy river, how happy we can be. Lazy crazy river, way out west. Woo! Thank you.
All right. And I would be remiss if I didn't single out someone in our audience tonight who has allowed this group to play for a long time, who has employed us and put up with us and allowed jazz to survive here in Pagosa Springs. That would be Daniela from Nello's. Thank you, sweetheart. Lisa Saunders is going to be sharing a song with us right now. And her song is going to be As Hot as She Looks.
Thank you. Wow. Amazing, amazing evening so far. What do you think, ladies and gentlemen? You know, when you're asked to say something, it's like, what do I say? So how do you even begin for someone as so special as you? But I'm going to begin by before I met you. And Natalie Cole put out her album Unforgettable. Do you guys remember that? Fabulous album. Well, I heard that and I was hooked hooked. And every time my mom had me clean the house, I was Natalie Cohen it all the way through the house, man. I never had a house so sparkling. Thank you, Natalie. So that kind of prepped me for you. And one day, I was playing with DC. He said, "Oh, you got to come up to Nello sometime. Meet John Graves. It's a lot of fun." And I did, and I heard the stuff they were playing, and I was like, "Oh, yeah, I could fit into this. I could fit into this real good." And I was very nervous about meeting John, and you're so open and so nice. Thank you for that. Thank you for making me feel so welcome. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to do some of my most favorite songs of all time. Yeah. Inspiration has been a theme. You being an inspiration to so many. You kind of set the example for inspiration. You told us about it tonight, how you were scared and you pushed through the fear, And I can apply that, and I'm applying it right now because it's like, okay, I'm not going to be a victim through this. I'm going to rise up, and I'm going to push through, and I'm going to be open to opportunities I never thought that I'd be able to. So thank you. Thank you for teaching me that. Huh? So tonight, the song that I chose to sing is the first song that I ever sang with you. It's a universal word. It's love. And thank you for opening your heart to me and for showing me so much love. For all of you guys, thank you for that. And for you, audience, for being here and being so receptive. We're very blessed. John, I'm very blessed to have you in my life. Thank you. For the way you look at me. O is for the only one I see. V is very, very extraordinary. E is even more than anyone that you adore. And love is all that I'm gonna give to you. Oh, love is more than just a game for two. Two in love can make it. Take my heart, but please don't you break it. Love was made for me and you. Is for the way you look, you're looking at me. And O is for the only one I see. B is so very, very extraordinary. Now E is even more than anyone that you adore. And love, it's all that I'm gonna give to you. Oh, love is more than just a game for two. Two in love can make it. Take my heart, but please don't break it. Love was made for me and you. I'm telling you, love was made for me and you. Don't you know that love was made for me and you?
And now, back-to-back solos. June Marcus, the stage is yours.
Thank you. Well, my life and knowing John started when I moved back to Pagosa. I'm a native of Archuleta County, and I moved back to Pagosa in 2000. And that winter, Debbie Tucker asked me and another lady, Michelle, to do a Christmas show, which we did at the sports page at the time. We're at Timbers. And, of course, John played for us. That opened a door to many years, over 10 years, of playing with Elation for the Arts and Christmas every year. And that was sometimes the only time I ever played with John. And then jazz happened about 5 years ago, and they invited me to come and sing. And I have been so honored. And John has been such a mentor and a friend to me. I would have never thought that I would be even singing, really honestly, in public like I have done in the last 13 years. But I owe it to John, and I appreciate his warmth and your hospitality in your home, that you continue to invite singers in order to practice, and John being so open to help. I love you, and I thank you.
Why not take all of me? Can't you see I'm no good without you? Take my lips, I want to lose them. Take my arms, I'll never use them. Your goodbye left me with eyes that cry. How can I go on, dear, without you? You took the part that once was my heart, so why not take all of me? All of me, why not take all of me? Can't you see I'm no good without you? Take my lips, I want to lose them. Take my arms, I'll never use them. Your goodbye, oh, left me with eyes that cry. How can I go on, dear, without you? You took the part that once was my heart, so why not take all of me?
All right, give it up again for June and the band, everybody. God, what really, I'm so grateful and honored to be here tonight and standing off to the side and listening to all the people tell their anecdotes about John. It's quite obvious that he's had great exploits as a musician, film and television executive, and educator, but just as successful as a human being, and has had positive impact on his family, friends, colleagues, and even people like me who's just met. John, thank you very much. So our second and final reading from the Gospel according to John Graves Now, would that have been censored, John, back in the 50s if I had said, instead of the Gospel of Luke, if I said the Gospel of John Graves? Okay, so this is from page 43, or verse 43. What do you say to a lord, especially a Nobel Prize winner for literature, the co-author of Principia Mathematica, the landmark melding of mathematics and philosophy, who is an intimate friend and confidant of such world figures as Albert Einstein and George Bernard Shaw, and one of the 20th century's greatest philosophers? If a genie or fairy godmother had granted me the opportunity to visit any living person in the world, my choice back in 1962 would have been Lord Bertrand Russell, the 3rd Earl of Russell, novelist, philosopher, mathematician, political advocate, and jailbird for anti-war views. And here I was, in a tiny mini minor, being driven to the mountaintop home in Wales of one of the great thinkers of this century for an informal Saturday morning chat. How did a kid from Porterville, California, wind up in this dream come true situation? Like any good host, Bertie, as I learned everyone called him, immediately put me at ease with his questions about my trip. I think my first words were my expression of delight at riding behind an ancient steam locomotive on my glorious train trip. Somehow this led into a delightful recounting of his arrival in Canada, in which the seaplane delivering him floundered during landing. The only dry clothing his rescuers could provide was the clerical garb of a local vicar. So this famous antagonist of traditional organized religion made his initial appearance on Canadian soil dressed as a priest. All in all, Bertie must have posed as many questions to me as I to him. Soon after my arrival, he asked if I would care for a drink. I accepted with delight, not knowing or caring about the nature of the beverage. Ralph Schoenman, his secretary and budding firebrand, brought out a bottle of bourbon and started to measure with a shot glass. Bertie stopped him and said, "No, no. For ourselves we measure. For our guests we just pour." Among other things, we talked about Castro and Kennedy, his friend Eleanor Roosevelt, his pacifism, except for World War II, and his firing from a New York university for daring to suggest that masturbation was not necessarily the first step on the road to moral ruination. Knowing this was a once-in-a-lifetime experience, I swallowed my pride and made a rather gauche request. Would he mind posing with me for a picture? To my surprise, he not only agreed, but suggested the location and directed the contrived pose, which was the two of us looking together at what appeared to be important documents, while Schoenman snapped a picture, which is now framed and on my wall. The thing that stands out most vividly in my recollection of this experience is Russell's extraordinary ability to instantly organize and edit his thoughts before expressing them verbally. It was as though he were reading every sentence from cue cards. There were never any pause or sign searching for the right word, never an afterthought or redundancy. One had the feeling that nothing more or less needed to be said on the subject. And listening to you play, John, that's the way I feel. When you're done, I think that was perfect. Don't need anything more.
I wrote this song I discovered yesterday. I looked at the copyright. It was in 1966. And I have no idea why I wrote it. I must have been depressed about something, but I don't remember what it was. The song has just lingered all that time until I wrote a musical, a one-act musical, and we performed it here about 5 years ago. But I've never presented it anywhere else because I'm too old. You know, people my age are not listening to new songs, and if they hear a new song that, like songs I write, I mean, they certainly aren't going to keep listening. They're going to turn it off. So this is a song. It must have been in a dark era for me, but I don't remember it, luckily. It's called Where in the World is Home? And all these years I've never found a singer that would make sense with that song. I mean, they're either too young, and then no young person's going to sing about where's home. I mean, you know, he's wandering around, he's doing all kinds of things, living with his folks or with the government or anything. But anyway, Jim Horkey, after many years of playing for him at various clubs and locations, I thought, there's a fabulous voice. And if anybody's still smart enough, even people my age, if there aren't any of them still alive, they could recognize a great talent and an appropriate song. I mean, he can sound young and he can sound mature. But, or depressed, yeah. But I thought, wow, well, I'd love to get this voice recorded. And Phil, of course, who's producing this show, he was looking for a voice too, because he's making a video of this. And incidentally, he was my brightest student at the University of Central Missouri. And he was 12 years in Los Angeles working for Fox Sports International. And now he's here working for Pirelli. And so my brightest student, he always used to come and visit. And now he's moved here. And anyway, the wonderful mixture of Phil Swearingen, who's producing and shooting it with Pirelli's equipment and everything, and the wonderful opportunity of recording this great talent, Jim Horkey. Anyway, all came together tonight. So here he is. And Where in the World is Home is the name of the song.
Someplace my own. I've followed the sunset down to the sea, but the lonely road I have walked all alone. Is a time for me? Will this tiresome trail ever end? I've chased all my rainbows unendingly, but the pot of gold's always round the next bend. There must be a place, there must be a time. A man's got to rest when there's no more hills to climb. Somewhere in the world there's a girl for me. When I find her, I'll never more roam. She'll love me and need me, and then I'll know where in the world is home.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Jim.
Well, I could say all kinds of amazing things about this gentleman. We've heard so many things. Would you give it up? Please, please, please. You know what I'm talking about. And all the beautiful people in this room. You are as much a part of this show as us sitting up here. So thank you. It's so wonderful to play with this intimacy. That you're a part of the show with us. So thank you very much. To keep this real short, I think we'll just play some music. I do think music says it better than words. This is a song called But Beautiful, and this is for the amazing John Graves.
Right now we have Sandy Graves, who is the wife of Kim Graves, whom you heard playing cute a little while ago on drums. And she hails from the Phoenix area. I think, is it Phoenix? Area also. And she's here to entertain her father-in-law, Sandy Graves.
I'm the grandson, Davis, and I actually... I flew in from Portland, Oregon, actually, to be with you lovely people tonight, and, of course, to play a song for my grandfather. So tonight, Grandpa John, I want to thank you for all the joy and inspiration you've given me through the years. Some of my fondest childhood memories, in fact, came from this place, watching you and DC Duncan wow the crowds with all your many musical talents. And unfortunately, my older brother, the other grandson, Taylor, couldn't be here with us tonight, but he sends his love, and I speak for both of us when I say that you've been a tremendous intellectual and creative catalyst for us, and largely responsible for the unique people that we've become today. And I also want to thank you for handing down the wonderful Volkswagen Vanagon, which still holds that boxed wine quite well, by the way. So thanks again. I only wish that you hadn't backed it into so many pine trees.
All right. Well, I have actually something else to share about that VW Vanagon. It is in Davis's hands, well cared for, but it is now called the Shaggin' Wagon. I don't know why. Yeah. So anyway, and as far as this thing about you being a censor and all of that, I don't know. I'm not really sure. Interesting story. I approached John tonight. I brought 3 dresses from Phoenix. And I don't know if you heard this, Annie. You were in the corner. I brought out all 3 dresses and 2 beautiful pairs of shoes. And I said, John, when's the last time a lady stood in front of you and said, what should I wear for you tonight? And brought out 3 lovely gowns. Yeah. So this is his choice for tonight. Yeah. Well, as you know, I was inherited this musical talent from a strange way. I am an in-law. So imagine my horror, kind of, I don't know what, 35 years ago, we would have family get-togethers, and Carrie, his daughter, beautiful voice, would be singing these jazz songs. Kim would be on the drums or playing sticks on the coffee table. And I would sit there twiddling my thumbs, wondering how am I going to fit into this musical family? And I didn't think I had a bit of musical talent. So we'll let you guys be the judge tonight to see where John has taken me. But he's actually inspired the entire family because my 2 sons actually did inherit his wonderful talent and ability. So they're joining me tonight. My husband Kim over there. Yeah. So. And some of you may know his former nickname, playing Deadpan Graves. Has anybody heard him called that? Yeah, he very rarely smiles while he's doing a job. And I don't know what kind of smile he's going to give us tonight. I have a feeling it's going to be this smile. Yeah? So, there you go. All right. Well, I am usually full of surprises when I come up, so the band members are looking at me because I've kind of gone off script a little bit, but that's just my nature. You never know what I'm going to do. But I am going to ask for some audience participation tonight, and just know that you will know what it is that you are to do at the right time. You will know. And ladies, you have some props. Please don't look. There. You have some props. You will know. So you guys are all going to help me out tonight, right? So before I start, and I'm not going to be doing any of these other songs by myself here. So anyway, life is about cycles, right? The ebb and flow. The lights go up, the lights go down. We breathe in, we breathe out. I happen to be by trade a hypnotist. Now I want to let you know that I did precondition John earlier this evening to kind of work on this smile thing. Some of you... He's doing just as I suggested. And I know that you too will do just as I suggested to help me out tonight. So, being that life is ebbs and flows, in a way this is bittersweet tonight. So I will be starting off with a song that is a little sad, but with your help, we will pick it up. So, with the help of my light man over there, and Lee, you may start my introduction so that I get the right key when I start singing. But in life, as the lights go down, right? Tonight, we will all help John and ourselves to celebrate and bring in a little bit of sunshine, yeah, and bring in a little bit of light and love, yeah. Smile, though your heart is aching. Smile, even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you get by. You just smile through your fear and sorrow. Smile, and maybe tomorrow you see the sun come shining through for you. Oh, light up your face with gladness. Hide every trace of sadness. Although a tear may be ever so near, that's the time you must keep on trying. Smile, what's the use of crying? You'll find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. DC, help me out now. Ladies, help me out. Smile though your heart is aching. Smile even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you'll get by if you just smile through your fear and sorrow. Smile, and maybe tomorrow you'll see the sun come shining through for you. Light up your face with gladness. Hide every trace of sadness. Although a tear may be ever so near, that's the time you must keep on trying. Smile, what's the use of crying? You'll find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. Thank you.
I'm gonna take a sentimental journey. I'm gonna set my heart at ease. I'm gonna take a sentimental journey to renew old memories. I got my bag, I got my reservation. I spent each dime I could afford, and like a child in wild anticipation, I long to hear that all aboard. And now 7, that's the time we leave at 7. I'll be waiting up for heaven. Counting every mile.
much, everybody. Let's hear it for John Graves.